And I remember when the results came out, I woke up at around 8 a.m. and Owen had come back in to tell mum and dad the results. And I'll never forget the look on dad's face. And it should, in school in Ireland, it's your maximum is roughly 600 points. And to be honest, I think Owen's golf score was actually higher than the number of points he got in the exams. And there were great expectations. A la William Shakespeare. He would have been looking at 500 plus, but a pity that he just didn't apply himself. But it really didn't hold him back, which is probably the best thing. And from there, he went on to college in UCD, where he spent 4 years. And I think over 4 years, he probably spent less than 30 hours at combined 30 hours at lectures over 4 years. But he did manage to read the newspaper every day. And to be honest, I think that might have been a better education than going to lectures every day. So we had an eventful time in UCD, living with David and a few of the guys. And some of the highlights were the theft of a monument, a massive lion, which probably weighed about 30 kilos. Managed to drag it up the hill in some form of contest himself and Hugh had. He also managed to burn an L into his stomach after drinking roughly 30 cans of Stella Artois, the finest Belgian beer. And I'm sure he can show anybody. I'm sure the scar's still there, so you can check up on that one at some stage later on in the night. And I remember when he finished college, he had told mum and dad that he would go to Australia for roughly 3 months. And now here we are. He said he would apply for a master's, and here we are 7 years later, and he's still down in Australia. And I guess that says great things about everyone who's there. And what is our loss is essentially your gain, in that Owen's there, and he's such a good character, and he's always has a good time, and always has so many funny things to talk about, and so many good moments to bring into people's lives. But just, I suppose, to move on from that, I guess he reached one of the highs of his career a few years later, when he went home to Dublin, believe it or not, for a stag party, or a book party, I think it would be called in Australia. But he managed to hijack a garbage truck in the middle of Dublin City, and I think that was, to that point, was certainly one of the best jobs he ever had, be it maybe that it lasted roughly 10 seconds. But yet another crazy moment over the 30-year span. And just some other highlights that come to mind. I remember himself and Senan went to New York, and they somehow managed to get themselves locked in the back of a refrigeration truck in Times Square. Narrowly escaped that one without the handcuffs, thankfully. And when we were down, I was down in Australia for the Lions tour, actually, and I remember Owen managed to lock me out after the second test. I stayed on in the casino down in Melbourne, and I ended up sleeping out in the hall. So I have to say thank you for that one. Managed to jump a 10-foot gate, and ended up on crutches for a good 2 days. But luckily we managed to get down to Sydney for the third test, where Owen had to retire early after the game because he had a late night the night before. So hopefully he's rejuvenated tonight and he makes it through till the early hours of the morning, be it 4, 5 or 6 a.m. hopefully. I'm sure the party will go to the early hours, and I'm disappointed I can't be there, but I hope everybody has a wonderful time. And Jules, I have to give Jules a shout out, who's put in a lot of effort. And I just remembered good old Shawnee McCaughey. I'd have to give him a shout out as well. And look, when you travel the world, you do sort of realise that how important family is and how important friends are. And obviously we miss you, and I just hope that I'll see you soon, and I'd love to meet everybody there, and I just hope everybody has a fantastic night, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of stories to tell come tomorrow. So peace out, and everybody just go hard or go home.